What if I told you that the baby bear's last best hope for a mega crash, giga dump, to bring Bitcoin down to 20K, 15K, and below just evaporated in front of their eyes faster than a middle-aged woman's sobriety at an all-you-can-drink girls' night at the local Applebee's? Right now, the price of Bitcoin continues to inch and squinch along its 21-day moving average, and we've just received news. Big news, in fact. Potentially one of the biggest pieces of news of the year regarding Binance, which a lot of people were scared, right? Binance is one of the biggest elephants in the room of a doomsday crash, something bad happening to Binance that could bring the price of Bitcoin absolutely plummeting. Do you remember one of the reasons that Bitcoin got completely dumped on and brought below 20K was something that happened about exactly a year ago? It was one of the biggest competitors of Binance, this little enterprise called FTX. And when it collapsed, Bitcoin got absolutely dumped on big time. If we actually look, let's actually go back to November of 2022. Right in this range, right about here. The lows of the bear market. FTX collapsed. And did it impact the market? Absolutely. It brought the market down, it got dumped on big time. And a big fear of getting us even, back to that point or another $5,000, $10,000 dump on Bitcoin was Binance fears. And we just had some news come out that the Justice Department is seeking about $4 billion, that's right, $4 billion from Binance to end their criminal case against their exchange. So with that, Will Clemente actually puts this perfectly on Twitter, saying Binance was the biggest idiosyncratic overhang on this market for the entire last year. There were so many fears about Binance collapsing like FTX, and I've been reading it for the past year. I think all of you guys are pretty aware of this, that would it be good for the price of Bitcoin if 2 minutes from now Binance came out and said, hey, we're insolvent or we're going bankrupt, or they just start selling all of their holdings or something like that, right? Would that be good for the price of Bitcoin? I don't think so. If I'd have to take a guess, I would think the price of Bitcoin would go down. Now, with this being said, Will says markets hate uncertainty and they love clarity and resolution. And that's exactly what this is. He's saying it feels like similar vibes to the BitMEX resolution back in 2020. And the top comment saying you were 12 years old when when BitMEX was taken down. He's clearly older than that. Anyway, I just actually read that comment for the first time. Anyway, point being, this was a very big uncertainty in the crypto market. It was something a lot of people were fearing and using as bait, as hopium to bring the entire price crashing, crumbling down to its knees. And what you're telling me is there's a clear-cut resolution and at least some clarity to a resolution of this. Binance just pays $4 billion and we're good to go. Is that what you're telling me? Well, markets do like that. And if you're really looking for a way for Bitcoin to get completely dumped on here, okay, if we zoom out, look where we're at right now, for Bitcoin to get completely dumped at its current price, well, another one of those big hopes, best chance crash scenarios for Bitcoin just flew out the window. Okay, another one. As Wiz Khalifa would say, another one. Or the DJ. But the point being, this is bullish for Bitcoin. And at this point, so many things are bullish for Bitcoin because we're entering a new bull market. So if we look at Bitcoin's actual daily chart, we're right now straddling on top of the 21-day moving average. That realistic possibility of a $32,000 backtest is very realistic for a target to the downside. To the upside, Bitcoin could actually easily smash up to about 40,000 US dollars here. So we have the two scenarios, and Bitcoin's going to do one of those two things. It is going to, in my opinion, find immense support down here at the 50-day moving average, right here, this blue line, which also, if we zoom out, you can see has been it was massive resistance for Bitcoin the entire bear market right here, okay? So right here, I would be placing massive longs because I would be very bullish if we got that pullback, if we got that back test. So that's one scenario. And the other scenario is we just continue pumping to the upside here. If we look on this chart as well, right now Bitcoin is at a critical spot. We're kind of right above this support line that was previous support the entire year, and we just recently broke above it. You can see how long it took us to get back above this. This is a trend line we continue to watch. Max pain still remains to the upside. There are still so many closet bears out there, but there's something even bigger happening actually on the Bitcoin charts. So, and before we point that out, I do just want to highlight clearly we're getting closer to the biggest golden cross literally in the history of Bitcoin, because this was the very biggest death cross we've ever gotten with Bitcoin. We're getting closer and closer to the biggest golden cross on the weekly chart, the 50 and 200 week moving averages for Bitcoin. What a gigantic golden cross. But we also actually just got a really bullish cross on the SPX. You can see that here. 21-day moving average moving back above the 50-day moving average for the first time since when it went below it back in August of 2023. We're seeing the SPX do really well. The stock market's up about 0.75% today. And what else is happening? Well, the DXY seems to be in complete free fall. As we've been talking about, I don't think the DXY is going to be doing well over the next 12 months. I think it's going to continue to get dumped on. And that is one of the last gigantic talking points and hopes that people that have been really bearish on Bitcoin have been begging, screaming from the rooftops. Yeah, the DXY is about to start pumping. Stock market's about to have a massive recession, massive crash, or the economy. Stocks are going to get crunched, dunked and crunched on. And Bitcoin will have no choice but to get completely dumped on. And you guys realize the opposite of that is happening right now, right? Literally the opposite of that doomsday scenario has been happening the entirety of 2023. So that's significant, right? That's a bull case. You can see we're kind of at this last, I've had this charted for a long time. If the DXY breaks this range here, there is going to be big support around 100 to 101. Currently we're at 103.5. But ultimately, how strong can the dollar be, especially if the Fed starts printing money somewhat soon, right? Or at least cutting rates and not raising rates. All of these are more realistic possibilities than they were 6 months ago. And that's really that's the key takeaway here. The stock market, this S&P actually, if we look here, this is what I think is going to be a huge test. The SPX is currently about 1.5% or about 1.2% away from either putting in a double top or putting in a fresh new high for the year. This was set back in July 2023, about 4,600. Right now we're about 45-ish. So this is going to be huge because if the stock market does well, it's very likely that will also help Bitcoin. Although we've seen Bitcoin doing well this year despite the stock market having some really dippy times, just like back in October 30th. The SPX was extremely dumped on. It was down over 10% in just a couple of months on October 30th. What was Bitcoin doing on October 30th? Well, October 30th, Bitcoin was actually at its highest point of the entire year, of the entire bear market, back to the highs of May 2022. So Bitcoin was doing really well, even though the stocks were getting dumped on. But I personally think if I had to pick two things, right, would I prefer if the stock market is dumping and Bitcoin's pumping, or if the stock market is pumping and Bitcoin's pumping? I'd probably pick the latter. I'd probably pick number two. I'd probably pick if the stock market's pumping and Bitcoin is pumping. I think that's a little probably healthier and the scenario I would prefer. I think it would give a lot of people more confidence as well to speculate, and a lot of people more confidence in general in these markets. But with that being said as well, Bitcoin dominance, I think it's possible. We have seen the top of Bitcoin dominance for the next couple of months. It really depends on a lot of things here. Do I think we've seen the top of Bitcoin dominance until the halving? That also is possible, considering in the past, Bitcoin dominance had put in its top just a couple of months before the halving, very similar to where we are now. Where, how many months do we have to the halving? We have about 160-ish days, 150-ish days. So just a couple of months. And we're seeing altcoins actually do really well. So, I mean, for example, I don't know if you can see this out of my screen here, multiple coins up, like Illuvium up 11%, 10%. Ethereum's actually up almost 2% as well, back above 2K at the time of recording. And there's just a little more life in these markets than there was. And if you really like zoom out, try to picture where we could be in 6 months from now. If the trend we've been seeing for the past 12 months continues, because exactly about 12 months ago was like the lows of the market. That's when we were at 15K. That's when FTX collapsed. That's the dumpiest part of the bear market that we've seen. And for the past 12 months, we've been doing really well. So if this trend continues, you're going to see those bull market gains. As we head into the halving, you're going to see those that continued price appreciation in a much bigger way than we've seen so far. We've seen price go up. Bitcoin over the past 12 months has gone up 100%. Let's put this on like a long-term chart. If we go back to the lows of the bear market around 15K, Bitcoin is up about 130, 140%. But those are not gains that end a bull market, right? We're at the beginning stages of a bull market. These gains that we've seen, how do I put this frankly, or how do I put this into perspective? I would say these are baby gains. These are gains for babies, right? This is what we've seen so far. And look what real bull markets give the bull boys. So I think still very bullish base case, in my opinion, for Bitcoin. And today, this news about Binance, just further clarification. That's one thing a lot of people have to remember about bull and bear markets is that we're coming out of a bear market where everything basically was bad news. Any good news that we got was either downplayed or ignored, and it didn't pump the price. When you're in a bear market, that's just how it goes. It almost seems like the news was against us and people were conspiring to continue to dump Bitcoin. Turns out FTX and SBF literally were doing that, right? They were trying to keep Bitcoin below 20K. But in a bull market, it's the exact opposite. It almost seems like news articles in a bull market are on our side. It almost seems like everything's on our side. It almost seems like bearish news does nothing and everything is bullish. And that is fundamentally the difference between a bull and a bear market, because it's objectively true. Things are just bullish in a bull market and bearish in a bear market, and everything tends to just go that way. And so we're seeing, again, prime opportunity, I believe, in this market. And I think that this news today is pretty good. I think that we could easily have a test of about 40K. Keep in mind, we are about a month away from Christmas. We're a month away. It's a huge holiday for people around the world. And a lot of euphoria, a lot of excitement goes into the year's end, as it always has. November and December historically have been extremely bullish for Bitcoin. So we have, at least historically, some really bullish time periods ahead of us in the very short near future. And also we have the Bitcoin halving estimated to be sometime in April, towards the end of April. So again, so many things are coming together. I think that we could see that 40K Bitcoin well before we even get to Christmas. Easily. We could see it in the next couple of days. That's how quick Bitcoin moves. We could see a very big move here. So with that, dollar down, stock market doing pretty good right now. Bitcoin doing good, and more clarification about one of the biggest potential black swans or red alerts that we could have gotten, which was Binance collapsing, right? All they got to do is pay $4 billion. And the Fed, or who do we have here? The Justice Department is willing to seek to end this crusade against Binance. That's extremely big time. And take advantage of massive sign up and deposit bonuses if you're interested in trading with Femex and BITGET below. We have a trading competition going on right now with Femex. As well, if you go over my Twitter and retweet a Tradingview tweet that I had, they're just giving away, Tradingview reached out to me. They're giving away 3 free annual subscriptions to people that just retweet that tweet that I had. I tagged Tradingview in it. So nothing to lose. Basically, if you like Tradingview, it's this thing that I'm using right here, these charts right here. Which side? This chart right here. It's Tradingview. Everyone uses Tradingview, or at least most people. And yeah, they're giving away 3 free annual subscriptions to it. So if you're interested, just head on over to my Twitter as well and retweet that. And like I said, if you're interested in trading or even buying coins, just spot, not even trading, if you're just interested in buying different coins, everything, there are links in the description for that as well. Without further ado, that's it for me.